Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Welcome to your Friday edition of the Cricket Happening Show. And in this Friday edition of the Cricket Happening Show, there's a lot of cricket to cover. So I wouldn't be able to go into those details, but definitely I'll be doing a summary of all these matches. So as far as today's Cricket Happening Show is concerned, the first match which I'll be talking about. First, let me give you a summary of what happened today in the world of cricket. South Africa versus England. Today was the first day of the fourth test match, the final test match at the Centurion, and there was only one man to really watch out for from South Africa, and that was Stephen Cook, who is the son of the former player Jimmy Cook. And Stephen Cook today made his debut, and what a wonderful debut. In fact, Steyn van Zyl was removed from the team, and here comes in Stephen Cook and shows his real prowess here at this age of 33. Comes here, and at Centurion he has scored a century on debut. Now that is a great exhibition, I think, and I think he has really proved himself. Coming into the first match, playing an English attack which is full of fire, he has come here and definitely showed his prowess as he went on to make 115 runs, and it was a century on debut in his first test match, his first innings in test cricket. He comes here and scores a century. So South Africa definitely the score looking absolutely pretty at the end of the day's play. Hashim Amla also collected a century, and South Africa was sitting pretty on the first day of the final test match here against England at Centurion at 329 for 5. The other match which happened yesterday, the final T20 between New Zealand and Pakistan, was something where New Zealand totally dominated the Pakistani bowling, and it was Corey Anderson who really went big on them with an unbeaten 82 of 42 balls with 6 fours and 4 sixes, and the Pakistani batsman had no answer. There's only one person, Sarfraz Ahmed, who was the highest score at 41, and Pakistan innings totally folded for 101 runs, thus not only losing the final T20, but in the process also losing the series, as New Zealand took the series 2-1. The other match, the fourth match, as I said, between Bangladesh today, was the final match of the one-day international series between Bangladesh and Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, as you know, in the third one-day international, they leveled the series, and in the fourth one-day international, they went on to they leveled the series. They didn't level the series; they had one win. And the fourth one-day international, as I said, the final one-day international was very important match. And Bangladesh, the home team, were defeated by Zimbabwe today by 18 runs, and Zimbabwe squared the series, this T20 series, 2-2, and that would have been something that they would be very proud about, as they did it against Bangladesh on their home turf. And also it was a great innings from Masakadza, who definitely deserved a century, but all that he could do was muster an unbeaten 93 of 58 balls with 8 fours and 5 sixes. I thought the Zimbabwean bowling also did a good job with Madziva and Chisoro, and what a victory for Zimbabwe, winning the match by 18 runs. It will give them a lot of confidence now going into the T20 World Cup. So 180 was what Zimbabwe put on the board, and Bangladesh could muster 162, and they lost by 18 runs, and that was it. And Hamilton Masakadza has gone on to a record here, because he has become he has gone on to a world record as far as T20 cricket is concerned, as far as bilateral series is concerned, and I'm told that he has notched up the highest aggregate of 220 runs in these 4 matches that Bangladesh and Zimbabwe played, and Hamilton Masakadza scored 93. And there's also another news coming in from Zimbabwe, which is pretty surprising, but nevertheless, Elton Chigumbura, the current captain, wants to concentrate on his own personal form, and he has decided that he has retired. He has resigned from the captaincy, and now we would have a new Zimbabwean captain being named. And also, there's also news coming in from the Big Bash League, and today the second semi-final was played between Melbourne Stars and the Perth Scorchers, and the Perth Scorchers were scorched by Kevin Pietersen's knock, as Kevin Pietersen played a wonderful knock, chasing the target of 139. Kevin Peterson scorched the turf and actually had a victory for the Melbourne Stars and took the Melbourne Stars into the finals of the Big Bash League 2016 with, as I said, a scorching knock of 62 of just 36 deliveries with 5 fours and 2 sixes. As Kevin Patterson took the Melbourne, so it would be Melbourne Stars versus Sydney Thunder into the final. And I think there are 2 new teams which has entered the the Big Bash League finals. So that should be interesting. So that is something. So as I said, there are 4 matches that I need to talk about. But first, let me start off with the match between South Africa, or probably I should be starting off with the third T20, New Zealand versus Pakistan. So as far as the third T20 was concerned, this was played at the Westpac Stadium in Wellington. Pakistan were the ones who actually batted, New Zealand who batted first, and New Zealand put up a score of 196 for 5 on the board. In fact, Martin Guptill, well, as you know, he's in some great form right from 2000, at least in 2015 and 2016 he has been in some prolific form, and today once again he clattered the Pakistani bowlers all around the park with a hard hit knock of 42 of just 19 deliveries with 6 fours and 2 sixes. And now what Martin Guptill has been doing, according to me, is that he's really filling up for Brendan McCullum, who is not there in the team. He's definitely doubling up and playing such beautiful strokes which are hit with such good power and timing. 42 of 90 deliveries, 6 fours and 2 sixes. They had a very good start given by Guptill and Kane Williamson, and Williamson contributing 33 of 34 balls with 3 fours and 1 six. In fact, Pakistan were very lucky that Colin Munro was run out by Mohammad Rizwan for 4. Well, as I said, New Zealand have the richest of, as far as all-rounders are concerned, they have some riches, I would say. And that blow, Corey Anderson, who had not really made an impression in this particular T20 series, really came back, and he started knocking the Pakistani bowlers all across the field and over the fence. And he hit a lot of sixes. He hit 4 sixes and 6 fours in an unbeaten knock of 82 of just 42 deliveries. He was really pinching the turf with his strokes. He swung Mohammad Amir over the mid-wicket region for a 6. He went after the spinners. He deposited Wahab Riaz into the terraces, and Anwar Ali was really taken apart by Guptill was the one who took him apart, and then we saw this person, Corey Anderson, also taking him apart, and New Zealand realized 196 for 520 overs, which was always a good score on this Westpac Stadium pitch. Anwar Ali, 3 overs cost him 31. Mohammad Amir, 4 overs went for 35. Ahmed Wasim, 4 overs, 42. Wahab Riaz clattered for 43 of his 4 overs with 2 wickets. Shahid Afridi was also given a bit of a bash, 4 overs, none for 21 for 27. But his figures are the ones which look something that one could read on. Shoaib Malik, 1 over, none for 16. As far as Pakistan were concerned, they definitely had no answer to the bowling from Corey Anderson, who put up an all-round performance, picking up 2 wickets for 17 runs. Trent Boult picking up 1 for 32 of his 3. Adam Min was the best bowler on show. What a bowling analysis. 3.1 overs on maiden, 8 runs and 3 wickets. Sandton bowling 1 over for 7 runs. Clenahan 3 overs, none for 15. Elliott got 3 wickets for 7 runs of his 2 overs, and 1 over for 13 for Colin Munro. And Corey Anderson for his all-round performance, also with the ball, was named man of the match. And look at the Pakistani innings. They folded for just 101 runs. They never look like, if you look at the Pakistani batting card, it really doesn't make any happy reading. The highest score being Sarfraz Ahmed with 41 of 36 deliveries, 5 fours, and Shoaib Malik was the other one who got into double figures with 14 of 6 balls with 3 fours. Other than that, it represented a telephone number. As you see, Mohammad Hafiz was out for 2. Shahzad was 8 of 6 balls with 1 4. Mohammad Rizwan was run out in a very comical circumstances, I say, and he was really daydreaming, I would say. Run out by Sanctum 4 of 4 balls with 1 4. Shoaib Malik, I already spoken about. Umar Akmal was out for 5. Shahid Afridi couldn't do much, 8 of 8 balls with 1 6. Ahmed Wasim for not. Anwar Ali 8 Wahab Riaz's force. So I thought the New Zealand bowlers really kept on piling the pressure with some very good bowling, which was done by the New Zealand bowlers, and that kept the Pakistanis in check. And Pakistanis were really under pressure. They were chasing almost 9.82 runs per over. It was definitely a stiff task, but Pakistan, there was nobody who could really give some support to Sarfraz Ahmed. And finally, this Pakistani innings folding for 101, and New Zealand winning the 3-match series 2-1. Corey Anderson of New Zealand was named man of the match. So congratulations to New Zealand for having won the T20 series 2-1 against Pakistan. So that is as far as the third T20 was concerned. Now let's look at the first day's play in the fourth test match at the Centurion, at the Super Sport Park in Centurion. South Africa were the ones who actually won the toss, and without any hesitation, AB de Villiers decided to bat first. Well, as far as the opening start was concerned, we saw Stephen Cook and Dean Elgar walk out to open the innings, and all eyes were on Stephen Cook, as Stephen Cook was given his baggy cap. He was told to debut in this particular match, and definitely there would have been lots of nerves, especially considering the English bowling has looked sharp throughout the series, one probably thought. But I thought Stephen Cook, well, he started off confidently with the boundary, and we saw that Stephen Cook was very, very sure. He was really having some compact defense against the bowling of Anderson and Broad, and after looking at Stephen Cook, one probably was feeling, I was definitely feeling that he was definitely almost in the shoes of his father, Jimmy Cook, who played for South Africa, because he really, what one saw from Stephen Cook was his confident self. There was no signs of nerves. He negotiated the new ball beautifully in the morning, along with the company of Dean Elgar, and while things were going on, Cook was slowly gaining confidence, and slowly he was stroking the ball fluently. That was the good part about it. He was also playing some nice leg side strokes, and he was also at times he was also fluent through the offside. So he was really putting up a complete package there, and definitely while things were going on, we saw the first wicket fall for South Africa, and look at this, the way it happened. Dean Elgar had come down the pitch to Moeen Ali. The ball had actually gone in the air, and it actually it was James Taylor who actually lost the ball. He tried to catch the ball, he lost the ball, and the ball went and started settling down, and he actually caught it in between his legs, and he was given out. And once again, I thought it was a good catch by James Taylor. He continues to make a good habit of taking some good catches here. Credit to James Taylor, who clung on there, and Dean Elgar was out, and Dean Elgar was absolutely, I would say he was absolutely really stunned, because he thought that probably the ball would go onto the ground, but Taylor showing amazing reflexes, pitching, even though the ball had slipped. In fact, as I said, it ricocheted off his leg and was falling to the ground, and Taylor managed to snap it. What a catch it was, and Dean Elgar had to walk. So that was the first wicket to go, which made it 35 for 1. And after that, the England bowlers had to really wait, and they were really not frustrated. I would say they would have been definitely frustrated, because we saw Hashim Amla getting into full colour in the company of Stephen Cook. Stephen Cook, by the time, was really growing in confidence with his stroke making, and he was pretty sure about himself. And Hashim Amla was stroking the ball like sweet music to the ears. He was stroking the ball beautifully through the offside, and as you know, when Hashim Amla plays his strokes and is in full gear, it is a treat to watch, and that's what precisely was happening. And suddenly, before England could realize, this partnership had raised a lot of runs. In fact, they had put 202 runs for the second wicket. They recovered beautifully. They lost Elgar at 35, and then later on the second wicket fell only at 237, before Hashim Amla and Stephen Cook putting a partnership of 202 runs in pretty quick time, I thought, playing some very good strokes, being very confident about their stroke making. And The score had reached 237, and that was the time it was Ben Stokes who actually got through the defenses of Hashim Amla to bowling 109 of 19 delectably timed boundaries from Hashim Amla. But after 237, we saw suddenly England started getting back into the game when they knocked off de Villiers. It was Stuart Broad getting AB de Villiers to nick a ball to root in the slips, and that was a big blow, especially considering that South Africa were were on the driver's seat at 237 for 2 when Amla departed. That was a big wicket for England, as AB de Villiers was out for a duck of just 2 deliveries, and it left the Centurion Sports Park crowd absolutely stunned into silence. After that, Duminy was there today, but Duminy also couldn't do much, even though Stephen Cook was going on well at the other side, as Duminy came in and joined Stephen Cook. But then Stephen Cook got to his maiden test century. He was a bit slow in the 90s. It was quite expected, as he wanted to get to his maiden century, and that on his debut. That was a wonderful moment for Stephen Cook as he got to his century. Stephen Cook finally, as you know, Chris Woakes was playing today, as you know, in place of Stephen Finn. And Chris Woakes, I have to say, was looking very rusty. He was not able to get the ball into the right areas. He was struggling. He was being struck for runs pretty easily by both Stephen Cook and Hashim Amla. But finally, Woakes had some sort of consolation, and that was a big wicket too, because what he did is he clean bowled Stephen Cook, the debutant, finally for 115 with 14 boundaries. And then we saw Duminy getting LBW bowled Ali for 16 with 4 boundaries, and the score at 273 for 5. At 273 for 5, the new ball was claimed, but and I thought Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock put on a beautiful partnership. Even though the second new ball was claimed, it was a very good partnership from Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock. Temba Bavuma showing that after that century, his confidence is really up. He started playing some good strokes. Quinton de Kock was also timing the ball well, and South Africa finally sat on a score of 329 for 5, close of play on day 1 of this final test match between England and South Africa at the Centurion, the Super Sport Park in Centurion. Temba Bavuma was not out on 32 with 5 boundaries. Quinton de Kock was not out on 25, 4 boundaries. So it was a good negotiation by both Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock, especially considering that England were slowly getting into the game. England was slowly getting into the game by capturing the wickets of AB de Villiers, Stephen Cook and Hashim Amla. But Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock negotiated the second new ball in an admirable manner to close the day at 329 for 5. Anderson, once again, not looking penetrative. 21 overs, 4 minutes, none for 70. Broad had 18 overs, 1 minute, 1 for 65. Moeen Ali bowled well, 17 overs, 4 minutes, 2 for 53. 1 wicket apiece to Chris Woakes, 16 overs, 2 minutes, 1 for 74 was costly. And Ben Stokes, 18 overs, 2 minutes, 1 for 57. So that is as far as, so definitely Temba Bavuma and Quinton de Kock would like to carry over, in the sense they would like to carry on tomorrow and see how they can really help South Africa pile on a big score. For England, they would be hoping the new ball is, the cherry is still new, so with the morning dew on the pitch, something could be happening, but one has to wait and watch. But I thought South Africa so far as today has put up a very good performance here on the first day. The next match that I'm going to talk about is the Bangladesh versus Zimbabwe match, which finally the Walton T20 cricket series finally ended in Bangladesh. Zimbabwe squaring the series. Zimbabwe batted first, put 180 for 4 on the board of 20 overs. The architect being Hamilton Masakaja. What a knock from Hamilton Masakaja. He really went after the Zimbabwean bowlers and started depositing them for sixes and hitting them for boundaries. And Masakaja was the centerpiece there. Not out. In fact, he truly deserved a century. But look at his knock. 93 of 58 balls, 8 fours and 5 sixes. He was not out. And today, while making 93, as I said, he has gone on to a big record. He has etched his name into the record books as far as T20 cricket history is concerned. Because in a bilateral series, Hamilton Masakaja now has the highest aggregate of 220 runs that he has scored which is the highest that any player has scored in T20 history in a bilateral series. And Hamilton Masakadza truly deserved that. He's one of those kingpins, I thought, of the Zimbabwean batting. He made 93 of 58 balls with 8 fours and 5 sixes. Mutumbami gave him company with 32 of 25 balls, 3 fours and 1 six. A very useful contribution coming in from the big hitter Malcolm Waller, tonking 36 of 18 deliveries, 1 4 and 3 sixes, and 180 for 4. Bowling, I'm not going to go into those bowling figures here, because all the bowlers got a real tap. Murtaza going for 40 with 1 wicket. Abu Haider 4 overs 1 for 33. Arafat Sunny none for 27 of 3. Taskin Ahmed 4 overs went for 32. Shakib Hassan 1 for 35. Sabir Rahman 1 over for 11. As far as Bangladesh were concerned, today that top order didn't fire, and that was, the top 5 couldn't really fire. If you look at it, it was Tamim Iqbal out for 1, Soumya Sarkar for 11, Sabir Rahman for 1, the usually very consistent player Sabir Rahman out for 1, Imrul Kayser out for 18, and Shakib Al Hasan was 4. So basically the top half had gone, and then it was left to Mahmudullah to really become a sort of a guiding force. He did that by contributing 54 of 41 balls with 5 fours and 2 sixes. We also saw Nurul Hassan coming in and contributing 15 of as many balls with 1 4. Mashrafe Murtaza did some real bashing there, trying to get Bangladesh closer to the target. He contributed 22 of just 12 deliveries with 1 4 and 2 sixes. Abu Haider swung the bat high and wide for 14 of 10 balls with 1 4 and 1 6. And in the end, Bangladesh lost this match as they were bowled out by the Zimbabweans for 162, and Zimbabwe not only went on to win the match by 18 runs but also squared the series. The series was drawn 2-2, and let's have a look at the Bangladeshi bowling card, the Zimbabwean bowling card here. Now, Zimbabwean bowling card, Chisora was very impressive. He has been really shown that in this series that he's one to really look at. 4 overs 3 for 17. Look at Neil Majiva, who came and first knocked off the top batsman, then once again came in at the end and knocked off the batsman and clinched the match for Zimbabwe. 4 overs 4 for 34. Impressive. John Way 3 overs 1 for 35. Raza 2 for 31. Creamer 4 overs for 27. Chigumbra none for 16. And 4-match series was drawn 2-2. Which was very well contested. The player of the match and the player of the series going to Hamilton Masakadza, who has actually got his name into the world record books in T20 history by becoming the getting the highest aggregate for a player in a T20 bilateral series. So congratulations to Hamilton Masakadza for bagging both the man of the match and the man of the series. He truly deserved, I thought. And last thing that I'm going to cover on this Cricket Happening show is the second semi-finals that happened between Melbourne Stars and Perth Scorchers. Perth Scorchers were restricted to 139 for 7 of their 20 overs by the Melbourne Stars, with the highest scorer being Adam Wojcicki, 52 of 40 with 6 fours and 44 from Michael Klinger. And as far as the chase was concerned from the Melbourne Stars, well, Kevin Peterson saw to it. Stoinis on the top made 44, but Kevin Peterson, as I said, he started scorching the Perth Scorchers bowlers to all parts of the ground by scoring 62 runs of just 36 deliveries with 5 fours and 2 sixes to make sure that Melbourne Stars would be the victors. And Melbourne Stars, thanks to Kevin Peterson's beautiful knock of 62, went into the finals of the of the Big Bash League 2016 here in Australia. 140 for 3, Melbourne Stars winning the match. And Kevin Peterson of Melbourne Stars, without any shadow of doubt, was named man of the match. So it is going to be Sydney Thunder versus the Melbourne Stars in the finals of the Big Bash League 2016. These are two new teams hitting the finals of the Big Bash League, and that is going to be pretty interesting. Probably coming on a Sunday, I reckon. Well, dear fans, friends and subscribers, on this note, it's about time for me to put a lid on this Cricket Happening show for